Welcome to another edition of Transparency in Government. We are here now with our current superintendent, Nate Greenberg, and our soon-to-be superintendent, Scott Oliverty. And I always want to make sure I pronounce that right. And it's March, just so that you know, we're talking to you on February 16th, so we have just finished up our deliberative sessions last week. So we're going to start off our conversation by talking about the deliberative session and how that went for you.
Well, the deliberative session went fine for us. There were about 100 people in attendance. The budget and all the warrant articles were approved to move to the ballot.
Okay, no amendments or anything?
No.
All right.
So we were pleased with that. There were some good questions. Some of them revolved around enrollment and growth in the town. And what we did was we reported back that we had approximately 108 more students than we had projected in October, and that we had about 51 more students than we had last year. And as we look at the developments, the new developments coming in over the next several years, we're going to be continued uptick in the enrollment with the new developments, and that doesn't count housing turnover in town. We're beginning to see that too.
When the kids graduate and the people move and then
Correct.
somebody buys the house with small kids.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So as we move forward over the next couple of years, we're going to have an eye on growth and what we're going to do with facilities, et cetera. And within the budget that is being proposed for 17-18, we've added 3 elementary teachers, 1 at each of the elementary schools, to give us, to accommodate the growth and give us a little bit of breathing room, because next year still, the bulk of the new development's up in the North School area, so try to keep the class sizes a little bit lower there so that we can absorb new kids coming in. So overall it went well, and we, as everyone probably knows, we have a number of articles. We have 4 bargaining agreements on. Teachers, allied health, which are PTs, OTs, that kind of stuff. Support staff, which are assistants, office assistants, classroom assistants, and then a custodian. Then we have what Steve Young affectionately calls the beef crumbles article, which is the school lunch and article, which also includes our ability to accept grants. There's no tax impact, but it allows us to accept federal and state grants as well as
What
money
article
from.
number is that?
Good question, Dottie. That is.
No, I didn't mean to throw you there.
No, that's okay. I believe it is Article 8.
Okay, I don't normally do this, but please vote yes on Article 8. It's not going to cost you anything, and it gets you free money.
Right, absolutely. And then the other articles are a building maintenance trust and equipment capital reserve, then our special ed trust, and a number of these would be funded out of fund balance.
Okay.
And then the non-lapsing asbestos removal project, which we went through. There's no
emergencies going on.
No emergency. Right. This gives us the ability to remove the asbestos at our own pace, and it's going to save us having to file all those reports, which require about $25,000 a year for us to go through the monitoring process. So it just makes sense. And what we don't want to be in a position where let's say there's a roof leak, it leaks on the encapsulated asbestos, then we have to go through the whole process of removal and et cetera.
You're being proactive.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And actually, talking about being proactive, we're now in the process of removing snow from the roofs. So if people see the cranes, there's a crane presently over at the high school.
Okay.
We removed snow from the roof over at South School yesterday. So the elementary kids particularly like looking at the cranes coming down.
They enjoyed that.
It is a little disconcerting, though, I have to tell you, to be on the second floor of your house and have a man appear at the window. Because I had the snow taken off of my porch roof because it's the only flat roof.
Got it.
So I had called up and said, whenever you have a chance, come on over. So he just dropped over, and I'm like, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, as you say, we're being proactive.
Yeah.
It's just the middle of
and
February.
anybody else who hasn't done that, maybe want to think about that
Yeah.
at your own
Yeah.
house.
And like today, even though we didn't get that much snow, it was that heavy
yeah.
heavy wet stuff. So
Yeah.
depending on what you had still on your roof, it's a good thing to just monitor it. And we've
Yeah.
done this in the past. We just want to make sure we're okay. We don't want to wait till we have a problem.
Yeah.
Come in, get it
Especially
off.
flat roofs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably less expensive to build it with a flat roof, but it always seems so strange to
Right.
me in New England to have
Yeah.
flat roofs.
Yeah, in South School we have that sawtooth design, so a lot of the snow falls right in between
yeah.
in those valleys. So we want to get to that, and that's what we did the
Yeah,
other day.
good.
So we're
Sounds
moving
good.
along. So all
Okay.
deliberative session went well, and encourage people to come out and vote in March.
Okay.
We think
Yeah,
it's
we're going to, again, March 14th.
yes,
March 14th. And it's down here at the high school gymnasium.
Yep.
And it's from 7 in the morning until 8 p.m.
Correct.
And as you know, the traffic issues have all been resolved. We don't have to worry about that anymore. They've got this down pat now.
Yes.
So, please turn out and vote, because it doesn't make any sense for you to be a resident and have all of these things going on in your community, and then you don't participate. And we, as I mentioned when I was speaking to the town manager, there was a thought a while back, and I always thought this was a really good idea, that when you come out of the voting booth, you should get a card, and the card should say, "I voted so I can complain."
right.
Because if you didn't, you can't. All right? So everybody needs to be there and vote. And there are also elections, even though on the school
Right.
side there are no contended elections this year.
Correct.
There are some on the town side, and you definitely want to take part in that as well. So you get to vote on the town, the school, and your elected officials all in one fell swoop.
You bet.
Can't be more
Absolutely.
convenient.
Nope.
In and out in 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay. But speaking of things that are really good and easy and wonderful like that, tell me about your dropout rate.
Well,
what's going on there?
Oh, we're very proud. Our dropout rate for last year, the latest figure, we just got the figure, was 0. So translate that into 100% graduation rate. So if you look at last year, 94% of our kids were accepted to either a 2 or a 4-year college, and we had a 0 dropout rate,
Yeah.
which is pretty neat. And
Certainly
we're really,
is.
and I think and you'd like to have it every year, but you're going to have little.
Oh, this is going to be.
But ours has been below 1/3%, and it's gone down. When we first started the adult ed program, it was like 2.5%. And I think the adult ed program has really helped significantly, and the proof is in the pudding.
Can you explain a little bit about the adult ed program and who opts into it? And
Yeah. We run, there are 2 parallel opportunities there for people. Our adult ed program is academically focused, so there are some districts that have, square dancing or whatever. We don't do that, and those are great.
I was going to say, don't knock square
No,
dancing.
no.
Okay.
No. No. No.
They didn't have that in New York.
No.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. Anyways, it's for students that have difficulty in a traditional traditional school,
yeah.
and also for people who are older. We've had 20-year-olds come back, and gives them an opportunity to get an adult ed diploma, which they can then use to go to college or whatever. It's great. So it's really cool. And the other parallel trail that runs with it is it allows some of our high school students to make up credits so that they can get a traditional Londonderry 24 credit diploma. So there are these 2 parallel tracks that run there. And it's been really fantastic. And then a third component, because we have people from the Joan come and they take what is called now the high step, which used to be, what was the term? The high step now is the way they can get a high school equivalency diploma.
Oh,
When
okay.
you're taking the
GED?
GED.
Yeah.
Used to be the GED test, now it's called high step.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
same
I
thing.
I've
blanked
got to
on it
catch
too.
up.
Right? So that has really been a big help. And
Mm-hmm.
then obviously too, you know, we're proud of the program that we have at the high school and the option and opportunities it offers the kids to proceed. But if you go back to 2002, 2003, what we were looking for were what were alternate pathways that we could provide people to allow them to get a diploma. And this was the program that we came up with. And people have a variety of different circumstances. Some have children, or they're working, or they had to leave school because their family needed money and had to work. And this provides them an opportunity. And we run 3 sections in the evening. So there's one that's basically right after school, another 4 to 6, and then one 6 to 8. So there's opportunities for people depending on their schedule. And really
And
work.
as a school district, we've made the commitment to help each child reach their full potential.
Absolutely.
So,
And
what a better
so-
way to do it.
Yeah, so we're really pleased with that and very proud of it too. So
Now, I'm curious, I don't know if you can answer this or not, but how does this compare with other communities?
well, we're as far as dropout rate,
Yeah,
we're probably one of the few in the whole state that has 0 dropout rate.
that's what I would have expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're really pleased with that.
Yeah.
And I think the combination, the 94% college acceptance and the 0, maybe there's 1 or 2 other districts that can match us in that. But we're really pleased. So.
Are there any communities that are looking to you as a sort of a model?
Oh,
To set
there's
up
a-
their own
Yeah,
plan, or-
there's a variety of school districts that that have similar programs, and we've just had really good success with it. And we get kids from Hudson and Litchfield come to our adult ed program. So, and it's really nice to see the principal from those schools show up at adult ed
Yeah, yeah.
graduation,
Sure.
guidance counselor. So it's really a pretty cool evening. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. What else has been going on since I saw you last, about a month ago, I think? I know that getting ready for that meeting is really a big one.
Can
You're
be.
all the technology stuff, so
I-
how about that future ready?
The future ready schools,
yes.
process. I don't know if you would recall, but back in the fall, we had a conversation about work on a digital learning plan,
Yep.
which really was a long-range plan for the role that technology would play both in the instructional environment and in the operation of the school district.
Right.
So we're trying to look
Yep.
down the road a little further.
Yep.
And what that did is our work in that area sort of led us to connect with the Future Ready Schools Project, which is a national organization that basically provides resources and a planning protocol for schools that are looking to do just what we're doing.
Okay.
So we had originally started this process on our own, and we were trying to develop a lot of these different resources and processes on our own. And Nate had connected us.
And now you found a wheel.
We found a wheel.
You found a wheel,
We did,
okay.
yeah. And so the Future Ready Schools process is something that we started working in actively a couple of months ago. And what we found was a lot of the processes that we were trying to design on our own already existed.
Okay.
So we kind of we used their planning protocol. We did some professional development training with them, and what we found is it's moving us ahead.
Faster?
And in
Yeah.
a more comprehensive way.
Ah.
And really the short version, you could probably do a whole show on just this. But
Well, okay.
there was what it does is it compartmentalizes the process, which if any viewers are familiar with the long-range strategic planning process, sort of what it does is it breaks down a really complicated issue into pieces.
Okay.
And then what we did was we created work groups around these different pieces, and one could be something, for example, the finance part.
Okay.
And doing some specific work for long-range planning on the financial piece and budgeting. Another one was the instructional environment. So there's a smaller group that's just working on that, and then the group comes back together, and you put together the larger plan.
So you've got a lot of teacher involvement.
A lot of teacher
this,
involvement. We have
and-
parent involvement.
Oh,
we
wonderful.
have, some people from the community have stepped in. It's been a very nice way to broaden the circle. But sometimes when you broaden the circle in the planning process, you slow it down.
Yeah.
Right? This is
Not in
actually
this
just the
case.
opposite.
Okay.
We're actually moving a little quicker than we
Yeah.
thought. we will have a draft plan to present to the school board. Probably, we're trying to have it all buttoned up by the end of the school year, so we can present it over the summer, and then
Okay.
hopefully use it in the fall when we start in for budgeting.
That is
for
on
the
a fast
19 year.
track.
Yeah, we feel like
yeah,
it's an important
yeah.
resource,
Yeah.
and I think that if we can really bring all those different pieces together, what it's going to allow us to do is be a little more focused in how we deploy some of our resources, and it's
Terrific.
trying to move beyond
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
idea of does this particular grade level need iPads versus a laptop?
Right.
Well, we'll have that question answered
No
already.
guessing, you got an answer.
We move with this
Yeah.
is this is
Yeah.
this is the way that the device is used in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you need. We already know that an iPad lasts 5 years, so we can tell you that 3 years from now,
Put iPad
fourth
on the wish
grade.
list.
Yeah. So that's the idea. We can go out 3 or 4 or 5 years and say, yeah, we're going to be able to project our costs, our deployment of devices, things like repair and whatnot, a lot further out.
Sounds amazing.
It's a big job. Our staff has been fantastic. Brenda Colometta is our
Yeah.
tech innovation person. She's heading up the group. Teachers have just jumped into
The
this with both feet.
enthusiasm is
They
really
love the
high.
idea
Yeah, yeah.
of being able to have a bigger picture. And as I said, we're just so grateful that we have people from the community who have given up
Yeah.
their time to come in
Yeah.
and work on the project.
And it's good to see the committees work.
Yeah, yeah.
You do know what they say about committees, right?
I have a feeling you have a better phrase than I do.
A camel is a horse built by a committee.
Oh, I like that. I hadn't heard that one before. I might quote you on that one.
You may do that. Yeah. Yeah, I've worked with a lot of committees over the years, and some of them, it was a dromedary. So, yeah, it can be very difficult.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so we've kind of run through things pretty
Yeah.
fast here. It's been
Yeah.
kind of an easy show. Do we have anything else you want to share with the?
Not at this time. Things are
Okay.
moving, and what I would do is encourage people to follow the school district and the schools on Twitter.
Yeah.
Also, we have very active YouTube channels, and it gives everybody a view as to what is going on in the schools, and it's actually all about the kids and as opposed to the adults. Oh, and one other thing, we will very soon be introducing a mobile app for our website.
Oh my goodness.
So that's going along.
Will I be
and-
able to get that on Google Play?
I believe so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Google
and
or
then
the Apple. iStore.
Parents will be able to pick which schools they want to prioritize. So if you've got a kid at South School, another kid at the middle school, another kid at the high
Yep.
school, there's the little slides that you do, whatever
Yeah.
you do, to get those things up. And then
We'll leave that to him.
Yeah, and right.
Yeah.
And then too, what has been happening recently, we introduced, I think we mentioned this in an earlier program, School Messenger. So
Yes, yeah,
when
yeah.
we have a delay like we had today, or a
You
cancellation,
can get that right out.
it goes out email, and also everybody gets a phone call. So it's a good way to contact, and
Yeah.
we'll be using that too. If there's an issue at one of the schools or an emergency, or they want to get something out, they're going to be able to do School Messenger too. And that, the mobile app, and then we also have Safe Stop, which is a free app for parents, so they can basically get a notification if the school bus is running 15 minutes
Yeah,
late
yeah.
because of road conditions or whatever. That will go right to the parent's phone, and they can say, okay, I'm not going to stand out in the cold for 15 minutes. I'll wait to go, or I'm not going to be, I won't be worried.
Boy, I'm feeling so old right now, Nate. I can remember sitting up at North School when I was on the PTA and helping make phone calls on the analog phone to parents individually using the list of numbers so that we could
Right.
let them know that there had been some sort of an emergency
yeah.
and they needed to come pick the kids up early.
It's
amazing.
The new technology is amazing,
Yeah.
and it does allow us to communicate more effectively. And you know, we're in the same age group. Let's put it that way. And you know, it's one of those things where I remember when I was a building principal and a teacher, when I was a teacher, I had to fill out the registers in pen, and you had to turn it in, and it had to be in blue ink and
Yeah.
the whole thing. And, now you
Yeah,
push a couple
yeah.
of buttons and
Yeah,
you got the
done.
attendance going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same with communication, too. So it does.
Actually, I was going to make sure I mentioned too, this is a
Okay.
great place to do this, because we had a lot of questions on this. School Messenger does have a text message feature. I've had a
Oh,
number
okay,
of questions
okay.
and phone calls about that.
Yeah.
We can just let parents know we are working on that piece.
Okay.
That's a whole different challenge, because the cell phone numbers and people have to
Yeah,
opt into
yeah,
it.
yeah.
We are eventually going to use that, but it probably won't be something that we'll use this winter.
Okay.
Next spring, our parents would actually be able to choose whether they would like a text message or not. But I'm going to get that. Yeah, maybe you think of that when you're
Fantastic.
saying.
There you
Okay,
go.
A lot
good,
of the,
good, yeah.
a lot of parents
Yeah.
have asked,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they'd
good.
rather text than call.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
well, hopefully by next fall, we'll be able to do that. And they can
Okay.
actually choose.
So it's in what we're talking about here, the school messengers, the Safe Stop, the YouTube, the Twitter, the revamped webpage are all part of our efforts to enhance communication, provide information to the community
I
at
love
large.
good communications.
And, if there are people that are watching the show that don't have children in school, please follow us on YouTube. See what your tax dollars are
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah.
And so we want people to know what's happening, because we're very proud of what our faculty and staff are doing, and most importantly, really proud of our kids.
Okay. This kind of popped something into my head. We had talked previously about the students at the school district getting involved with the senior center. And do you think that these kinds of, some of the technology issues would be
Yep.
coming up there, so
Yeah.
seniors can learn how to do this?
Yep, we've got a number of things in play, and we've had some really
Cool.
great response. South School had invited seniors in at holiday time, and they sent out individual notes
Ah,
to the seniors
Yep.
from the kids.
yep.
So we've had a number of things going on throughout the district.
Mm-hmm.
North School is done a number of things, Matthew Thornton. So we're continuing to move that forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you can teach us how to use technology. And also, you probably already have this somewhere in your timeline, but something for the community at large to learn how to use some of these technologies.
Absolutely.
Because, trust me, a lot of us are lost.
Well, I know we did get some feedback from the survey
Right.
that Nate and the group had done, where they reached out to some of the seniors in the community.
Yeah,
and
the
asked them what
seniors
they were looking
definitely,
for.
yes.
And
yeah.
a lot of them had said
Yeah,
that,
right. yeah.
yeah, it would be great
Yeah.
if we could do that.
Yeah.
That's definitely something we've got on our radar. Trying to figure out how to do it's another
Yeah,
story.
and
but-
well,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
because
on the list.
we're hard to teach.
Well, I think a lot of it was the logistics and finding
Yeah,
time.
I understand
It's,
that, yeah.
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 I think it would be, actually, I think it'd be a fun
Yeah.
pairing.
It would, definitely would be fun.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely, it's a fun
Yeah.
group up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't take anything seriously. So- Okay, so we're all set then?
Yes.
We covered it all?
We're good.
Okay, well, that was a very efficient show, and the communications were excellent, by the way. So I will plan on seeing you guys in March.
Yep.
Good.
And I just want to remind all of you again that the voting is on March 14th at the Londonderry High School from 7, in the gym, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we would like everybody to go down and vote. You're going to be voting on the budget for the town, for the school, warrant articles for both, and also you'll be electing your local officials. So please get involved, go down, and have your say, so you don't have to get one of those little cards that says you can't complain. So thank you for watching, and if you have anything specific that you'd like us to discuss, there's contact information at the end of the show, and we're always happy to hear from you. Thank you. Please join us again next month.